only watched Shin Godzilla once, and it was an amazing movie. It was dark, it was kind of goth. I love Shin. He is the only Godzilla of his type to have, you know, certain issues. And I was surprised to learn that the movie actually had a deleted scene for yet another form he was supposed to have. In this picture here on DeviantArt, you can see that Brederson drew what looks to be the 5th form of Shin Godzilla, a humanoid form that would have been so freaking nightmarish if it had come true and they had not stopped him in time. There's a POV on this channel about this from the human's point of view. If these things were to have continued their evolutionary path and they actually became a reality and they weren't stopped. It's freaking creepy. I was scared writing it, but it was really interesting. So I thought that was it. I come to find out that Shin Godzilla actually has more forms than we initially thought. His 5th form was always thought of as controversial. I don't know why, but it was. And what made Shin Godzilla the creepiest and most terrifying version of Godzilla was his many forms and how he constantly evolved to adapt on land or to his changing situations. He would always have an answer for everything, or for every obstacle, and he was basically unstoppable. Near the end of the movie, we see that Shin Godzilla has these things coming out of his tail, that if it weren't for the Japanese government and their scientists injecting Shin Godzilla with a coagulant, since his blood acts as a coolant, and if they didn't freeze the kaiju, those things, those humanoid monstrosities, would have wreaked havoc on everything. But there's another form that we don't talk about. You see, in Shin Godzilla's 3rd form, there's a scene that was cut from the movie, and it's where he vomits a whole bunch of blood, and the blood just eats away at everything. The tires, metal. It's so hot it melts even metal and everything around it. You see him standing in a pool of his own bloody acidic vomit, or whatever the hell it is. I don't know if it's so hot that it just melts metal, or it's made of some other kind of chemical, but it's disgusting. And they cut it because it was, I guess, too nasty, which I don't even understand why they would cut that because of that reason. The entire movie was nasty. I mean, look at when Shin Godzilla in his 2nd form is just lagging through the street looking for his freaking mother. And you can see blood just sloshing out through his gills. I remember that, and that was the only part of the movie that stands out to me. It looked painful and disgusting and oh god. So that was already in there, so why did they cut the other version with him vomiting blood? I mean, that's not even it. Okay, talking about forms here. Well, come to find out, I found another clip that somebody uploaded, and it was the deleted scene of soldiers going in and finding bloody fleshy pieces of Shin Godzilla just all over rubble. And from what I'm understanding, from what I was able to find, because it's really hard to find stuff on this, is just about people talking about it. Apparently, after they dropped bombs on Shin Godzilla and exploded his plates on his back, pieces of his flesh and blood fell off into the rubble or whatnot. And later, the soldiers go to investigate it, and they hear sloughing noises. So not only is this creature its own organism, but in the way it's kind of like Destoroyah, where it appears that its flesh is made up of all different kinds of itself. Like it is a company of organisms making up this one organism, which would explain why his evolution is so freaking fast. It is totally possible that any pieces of his blood left alone long enough or under the right circumstance would eventually evolve into its own thing. I wish they had left that in the movie because that's even more creepy. I mean, it's not disturbing enough that blood was coming out of his gills like a freaking bathtub of overflowing cranberry juice mixed in with lava. Why was this more disturbing than that? Those two scenes I think would have been integral to the movie. I feel like those are guys scenes that probably wouldn't have been cut or should not have been cut because Shin Godzilla's already creepy enough as it is. You've shown enough creepiness in this creature. Why not just give us the entire package? So this is something I just learned today. These videos are old, but I learned something new. I did not know. People have been saying that Shin Godzilla was planned to have 7 to 9 forms, and this was probably probably one of those forms where he just becomes everywhere and you can't kill him because if a piece of his flesh comes off, it becomes its own thing, like the movie The Thing. Anyway, thought this was interesting just in case any other Godzilla fans out there didn't know about this. Shin Godzilla is one of the newer, older movies that I've watched of Godzilla, and it's honestly one of my favorites because Shin Godzilla is unlike any other Godzilla that I've seen. What do you guys think about this? Do you think that it was a good thing they left it out of the movie, or do you think it should have been left in the movie? What are the forms do you think Shin Godzilla would have eventually ended up looking like? Thanks so much for watching. This has been Ultiori. You ask, we answer.